Hang on, just gonna get a water. In the next few minutes, I just want to show you how improving your focus by this much using a simple and proven framework will literally 3 times your revenue and make you bank. So I've basically been working on business for the last year every single day, and for the first like 5 months I would do like 1 hour of deep work, which is basically nothing, right? And it was as soon as I increased my focus to the point where I could do deep work for 7 hours a day that I actually saw so much success. I saw more progress in 1 month than in the entire year in business. Okay, and obviously I'm not Alex Hormozi level or anything like that. I've simply just saw a bit of success in business and I want to share it with you. And if you're one of these people who have been really struggling with business and you want to look like this guy right here, like lying on the money, I think you should stick around. And if by the end of the video you do not look like this person and you think you've just wasted like all of your time, you have my permission to dislike the video. I do not care. Just before I go into the video, I just want to remind you that literally just even if you're doing 2 hours of focus work every single day, that equates to 720 hours a year extra into your business. And if you know anything about life in general, you know that it only really takes 100 hours to get really good at something. So here's what you're going to learn in this video, and I promise I'm going to deliver the value to you. So the first thing you're going to learn is something called attentional spaces, which you've probably never heard of, and that's totally fine because you know you're not a nerd like me. And this will basically allow you to get into a hyper-focused state with no distractions and make a lot more money, okay? And you're also going to learn about structured work, which is kind of like your savior to productivity. This isn't like time blocking your work hours. This is something completely different. And I know for a fact you have not heard any of these things, okay? Because if you did, you would not be watching this video and you would not have a problem with productivity, okay? So I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's get straight into it. This is all about attentional spaces. So attentional spaces is kind of like the space that holds our maximum attention. Everything that we do, everything that our brain is focused on is all in this circle, okay? So it's kind of like the energy needs to do a task like the RAM in a computer. You have different levels of RAM in a computer. You have 8 gig of RAM, you have 16 gig, and really the goal is to make the big tasks that we're trying to do in a day fill out the entire attentional space so that all our attention is on this one thing in particular, which is, you know, the big task that we're trying to do in the day. So it looks something like this. Every single time we're trying to do work, there's multiple things in our attentional space. You've got our phone here, we've got our food here, we've got like music in there. It's like just random things filling up our attentional space that basically distracts us and stops us from getting into a focused state. And this is why it seems so hard to work hard. Bro, that sounds weird. But like the more we maximize the task in our attentional space, the more we can focus. And we can do this by basically just cutting out all the distractions like our phone, apps on our devices, and noises that are in our mind that are kind of just taking up all this space and stopping us from working and focusing. Like for example, I'm going to go back to the PC because it just makes sense if I explain it like this. So let's imagine you've opened a task manager and right now you're trying to play a video game, which is like the big task we're trying to do, and it takes up most of like our memory, our CPU drive, okay, that are stopping us from performing like amazing on a game. What we really have to do is cut out most of these background processes. Like if you've got Google open while you're playing video games, you're not going to be able to get as much FPS on it. But as soon as we kind of like cut down on the background processes that we're not using and that are kind of just distracting us, we could start to increase our performance on our main task, which is the video game. So we can basically just apply this to focus and just say if we get rid of the distractions in our life, like the things that we do not need at that current moment, we can fill out the attentional space and perform much better when we're trying to do the deep work, okay? That's kind of what I want you to understand here. And here's a big actionable step I want you to do. Like, I know, bro, I'm that annoying teacher from school who just sets like lots of homework for you. Sorry about it. So the actionable step I want you to do is make a big, long list on the distractions in your life. So this could be video games, junk food, deep work, toxic people in your life, scrolling, stuff like this. Things that are just like you don't need in your attentional space that you could basically just get rid of. And once you've made a big, long list, like do not lie to yourself, by the way, because I will know if you've lied to yourself. But what I want you to do is every single time you're entering this focus mode when you're trying to do deep work, I want you to try and increase the friction to get to these distractions. So for example, if you're addicted to scrolling, what you can do is turn off your phone, put it in another room, like completely uninstall the apps like YouTube, TikTok off your phone, so it's really hard to do that. Or with junk food, for example, you can literally just put it all in the bin. Like, bro, you shouldn't be eating that anyway. And if you think you're wasting money, you're destroying your health with it. So the thing you have to realize is humans are always going to be distracted. Even if you have no distractions in your life, you're always going to get distracted, because you can be distracted by your thoughts, right? So what we have to do is routinely check on ourselves and see what's taking up our attentional space. So the thing that I like to do is, like, every single hour you set a timer and set a noise to go off, and when this noise goes off, you're going to write down or just like take a mental note of what's actually in your attentional space. Have you got tons of YouTube tabs open? Are you texting on your phone? Have you just got random things that you don't need? And then you kind of gain awareness of your surroundings, and you can put your attention back onto the work. So it's kind of like if you do meditation, for example, when you get distracted, you're meant to put your attention back onto the breath. It's very similar to that. This is kind of like the first part of the video. It's kind of like to reduce all distractions in your attentional space so you can maximize your focus on the task at hand, okay? But this is the next part of the video. This is to do with your structured work. I'm just going to say this is like your savior to productivity. This isn't to like time blocking or anything. It's something completely different. So what I want you to understand is that there's 4 types of work you can do. There's necessary, there's purposeful, there's unnecessary work, and distracting work. So these are like the 2 types of work we have to put into our lives. So it's necessary work, which is like tasks we don't enjoy but we have to do, so it's like our daily obligations. So for me, this is like recording my video, but this also ties onto my purposeful work, because this is something I'm made to do. This is something I enjoy doing. These are the 2 types of work we want to maximize. The other 2 types of work we want to cut down and get rid of are unnecessary work, which is like tasks that we think are important but really are just wasting our time. It's kind of like checking emails when we don't really need to at all. It can also be distracting work, which is like work blocks where we keep on getting distracted. So for example, you're trying to do your deep work and you keep on scrolling, you keep on checking your emails. And the thing is, if you just look at your life, you can probably realize, that was a big voice crack, but you can probably realize that most of your day is filled with this type of work. It's not the good type of work, which is this. So for the actual stuff I want you to do, I know, bro, I'm the bad teacher that keeps on sending you homework. Deal with it, okay? This is going to really benefit you, and it's going to make you more money than anything else will. So the actual stuff I want you to do is group all the tasks you're doing into the 4 categories, and basically only focus on these 2 categories. So the necessary work, for, I don't know, whoever filled this out, this is not me, could be team meetings and budgets. Like, no one really wants to do this work, but you have to do it, it's necessary. And the purposeful work that is kind of attractive, that is good, but it's also productive, is like strategic planning. It's one-to-one meetings with your clients. That's probably what you do if you're actually a good entrepreneur and you actually care about the people you're serving. And avoid these 2 types of work. So this could be like organizing files, sorting emails, but you don't need to do that whatsoever. Distracting work is like social media, news websites. Try and cut out both of these 2 types of work and only focus on these. And I guarantee when you do that, you're going to find it so much easier to get into a focus flow. Because getting into a focus flow is all about trying to fill the big task into our attentional space. Because if we can do that, nothing else can distract us. And by the way, before you go, if you want to get access to 5+ worksheets and a free discipline course in the Discord, and also free weekly calls with me and the community, where I can give you advice about productivity, maximize your free time and stuff like that. You can join the Discord. You don't have to join, bro. I'm not trying to pressurize you into it, but if you want to just get like free stuff, you can do it if you want. And I hope you found this video valuable. If you didn't enjoy it, dislike the video. Then that's the first time a YouTuber has ever said that. Dislike the video. Okay, so goodbye. Have a nice day. You're going to open your face again. Goodbye. Wow.